Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, Glyphix here. Today I thought I'd do a missed tier list video on weapons, and you might be wondering why I already finished the tier list. The main reason for this being so that I can just go through it and not have to waste time, because of some of the weapons I had to check up on abilities and stuff like that. And the weapons that I've left out are pretty much weapons that I would not recommend playing at all. Majority of these weapons are going to be in between D and F, all of these weapons, except yeah, some of them you could argue like you could play pole hammer, I guess, but I really haven't seen it ever played. And some of the gloves as well you could also play, but I just don't really see them played in mists ever, and I wouldn't recommend playing them either. So the way that this video is going to work is I'm going to basically keep my mouse on the weapon I'm currently discussing, and we're going to go from bottom to top, and these are ranked in order. So this would be the lowest weapon, this would be the lowest C tier weapon, this would be the highest C tier weapon, and so forth and so forth. So if you guys want to go to a specific weapon, just look for where my mouse is on the screen. So let's get right into it. First, we're gonna go with the crossbow, the one-shot crossbow. I think it's just doesn't really have any mobility options, and the E is very easily reflected, interrupted, and it's a very one-dimensional weapon. Next, we have pike. It is a very good brawling weapon. However, Mist is all about mobility at the end of the day, and people are going to be able to disengage very easily when they play against you. Next, we have Trinity. This is a weapon I've almost never seen played in Mists, and I wouldn't really recommend it either. I just put it in here because I really enjoy Trinity, so I just wanted to put it on the tier list. But it's the same problem as the Pike. It's a very good brawl weapon, doesn't have good mobility, doesn't have good catch, so that's why it's all the way in E tier. Next, we have bolt casters. The reason I put bolt casters above the other weapons are because it's a little bit more versatile. You can cancel your E. You can also cancel your E on this crossbow. However, you can cancel your E. You can do a little bit of damage and not let it be reflected too much. And it's a very easy weapon to play for new players. That's why it's in D. Kingmaker isn't really intended for solo content, I'd say. But it is a sword. It does have decent damage and it does have some nice mobility. But I wouldn't recommend playing it whatsoever. Next, we have One Hand Curse. This might be a little bit of a controversial opinion, I'd say, because there's a lot of Goldstein abusers and enjoyers. However, it's a very one-dimensional weapon. Your E can get cancelled, which isn't that easy to be fair, but majority of the build is kind of soldier boots. So if they have a purge, you can't catch them. If you're gonna 1v1 against a lot of builds, you're not gonna stand a chance. It's just a very one-dimensional weapon that you kind of just run in, try and get a 4-stack E off, and if you can't get it done, then you die. Next, we have Wildfire. This is also a very popular build in the Mists. It has a very similar problem to Cursed in terms of it just kind of it has a lot of damage, and if you're going to play against somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, you have a pretty good chance of killing them. But the E is easily avoidable and so forth. However, the E is not reflected, and Fire does tend to have some mobility, but for the most part, I'd say that the people on Wildfire are usually on Firewall, so I'd put it quite low. Next, we have Whispering Bow. It doesn't really have a lot of mobility. Well, it has a decent mobility. The problem is more when it comes to using its E, you have to stand still when using your E, and that's very bad in the Mist. So majority of builds are going to be able to run away from you. You don't have a lot of damage output, unfortunately, so that's why it's quite low. Next, you have Oath Keepers. You have a decent survivability. You have okay mobility. You're lacking damage big time. You don't have enough damage on this weapon. Next we have this glove. I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially the one-shot glove. Um, it's okay. It's one-dimensional again, but you can play it with minor boots. So it's okay. You're gonna be able to have a lot of damage. You have okay, like chase potential, but not really because you don't have boots. So if you're gonna play this with a different type of build, I wouldn't really recommend it. The only one I think is viable for this weapon is the one-shot build. So I would that's why it's so low. Next we have Clarent. As far as I know, you don't drop stacks. Wait, let's actually just double check this. Um, where are the swords? Swords. Okay, so Clarent Blade. Oh yeah, wait. Oh, it does. That's a bummer. I might have to put it a little bit lower in that case. It has very low cooldown on its E. I think that's the main reason I put it so high. Does it consume the stacks? I'm not too sure. It does consume. Okay. Yeah, okay, the main reason I'm going to put it at the position, I might have to drop it a position or two, actually. Yeah, I'll drop it over there. I'll drop it one position. So it has a very low cooldown on its E. That's the main reason I'm putting it this high. And it's a sword. So there's that. Curse Skull, very low mobility weapon. However, it has a very good brawl. You're going to be able to survive a lot of fights because there's very few things that can really kill you if you're on a good build on it. Soul Scythe is a bit of a. It has insane damage, but I'm not going to put it much higher than this because its E is reflectable. You can dodge it quite easily, but it has some very nice damage output. I'd say Claymore, I might have a bit of bias towards, I won't lie. I used to main the weapon, but it has, like the E, it's nice damage and it has decent mobility. But yeah, realistically, it should be a bit lower. Maybe one position lower, let's say. But yeah, it's a viable sword. I just wouldn't. It's not really that good because the E can be used as mobility. However, it's only if you're going to be able to target someone. Next we have Blightstaff. I think this is the only nature staff that I have on the tier list. It has very good mobility and decent healing potential, and it has okay damage. So that's the main reason I'm putting it on in this position. Next we have Regibow. Regibow has the same problem as Whispering Bow in the fact that you have to use auto attacks, which essentially make you stand still in mists, and you never really want to be standing still in mists. But it does have mobility on its E and it has some decent damage, so that's why I'm putting it in that position. Tomb Hammer, very few people actually play Tomb Hammer. It doesn't have good damage, however, it has good mobility and it has a stun on its E, which can be very, very helpful. Next we have the Avalonian Coast, Shadowcaller. The main reason I'm putting it this so high is because it's Avalonian weapon, so you're gonna have more IP. You're gonna have some very, very good damage. That's the main reason I'm putting it at the position because I'd say it's probably the strongest coast to use in mists. Apart from, I think this is demonic. Let me just make sure I'm not giving you guys false information. Yeah. Oh, my Destiny board's looking very empty because I recently switched to East server, by the way, so because I get better ping. Yeah. Yeah, demonic stuff. Okay, good. So, it has it's very good for kiting as well as decent mobility and decent damage, and you can also so it's a fear essentially. That's why it's so high up. Next we have the crossbow that has very good range. It has okay damage and it has okay mobility. So that's the main reason it's over here. Dagger pair. Dagger pair is a very easy weapon to use overall. So I think that's why I'm putting it up here. It has decent damage. It has some very nice damage. And if you played with the assassin jacket or something like that, you have decent survivability and okay mobility and very good damage. So that's why I'm putting it over here. Warbow, very good mobility, and you don't have to stand still for too long when you're using E, so you're a lot more mobile, and it has decent damage. So that's why I'm putting it over there. Bearpaws recently got nerfed. It has very nice mobility. Unfortunately, I can't put it much higher than this after the recent nerfs. So yeah, decent damage, decent mobility. It's just not as good as it used to be. Next we have the gloves. These gloves are not bad. They have some nice damage on their E. They have nice mobility. I think realistically they should actually be above one-hand dagger. So decent damage, decent mobility, decent cooldowns, overall solid weapon if you want to play it. One-hand dagger, very one-dimensional, but you do have some nice outplays with your there's only one build that's really viable for it, unfortunately. Or you can say the one-shot dagger is also viable, but mainly you're going to be playing this weapon with a hunter jacket and a helm of valor and so forth. So it has very good damage and it has very good cooldowns and it has decent mobility. So I guess it is technically still higher than the gloves. Next we have Great Frost. This doesn't look the same as it does in game anymore. I don't think they updated on this tier list. I don't think they updated the icons for all the weapons. or at least the frost offs. So Great Coast has a lot of damage on its E, and it's on a 15-second cooldown, which is very low. It has the Frost Nova, so it has some decent mobility. Um, that's the main reason I'm putting it at this position. Kingmaker, I think, is very underplayed in Mists. I think it's a very solid weapon. I might even say it's better than Realmbreaker. It has Purge on its E, and it has mobility on its E, and it's a very good brawling weapon as well. So I'd say it's definitely underplayed in the Mists. Realmbreaker, very good damage, nice brawl. Uh, as a weapon solely, it's maybe not the best, but however, with the armor pieces you can play with it, it turns into a pretty good weapon to play. Now we're getting to B tier. First we have Bow of Badon. Uh, I'd just say it's better than Warbow because its E is going to land more consistently and it's an interrupt, and you don't have to stand still when using it. And then we have Chillal. Chillal has a very good, it has decent damage output, very good mobility as well, very good cooldowns. However, the reason I'm putting it below One Hand Frost is because its E is very easily avoidable and it's also very easily reflected, so that's why. Next we have Fire. Fire has good mobility, very good damage, and yeah, decent cooldowns. So that's why I'm gonna put it over here in B tier. Mace, it has a iframe on its E, uh, and it has a stun on its E as well if you hit it, and you have mobility on your W. It is very build dependent, I'd say. You kind of need like a Stalker Jacket or something to do that additional damage, but overall it's a very good weapon with a stun, high mobility, and decent damage. Next we have Dual Swords. It has mobility on its E and some very good damage. I'd definitely say it is, well, it's the second best sword to use at the end of the day in Mists in my opinion. Next we have One Hand Frost. It doesn't have the best damage, but it has very good mobility and very good outplay potential. And it's not a build where you have to use have to out IP people. Majority of the weapons in like A and S tier, you need to have a high IP to really be able to use it. Next we have Quarterstaff. I really like the E. You have a mobility on your W and you have a stun on your W, and you have very good damage output and decent mobility, so it's a very solid weapon. Next we have Crossbow. Crossbow has a lot of damage. It is some of the highest damage output in the game almost. And then it also has okay mobility, very good kite potential, and you definitely don't need a out IP people to be able to win fights. Next we have Death Givers. They recently got nerfed a substantial amount, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is. They reduced the mana and stuff, but it's still a very good weapon because mainly of the layout of Mist. There's a lot of mobs, so you can easily get a 3 stacks and then you pretty much have 2 E's, which is very overpowered. So and it's very versatile. You can play it with quite a lot of builds. Next we have One Hand Spear. This is the spear with the most mobility, I believe, and most versatile, I'd say, because it's easy on like a 20-second cooldown. So high mobility, decent brawl, decent damage. So that's why it's up here. Great Hammer does not have a lot of damage. You're going to have to out IP people quite heavily. However, you have a ridiculous amount of mobility with it. So that's the main reason it's up here. Carving, in my opinion, one of the best weapons in the game. You don't have to out IP people whatsoever. You've got mobility on. You've got decent mobility. You've got very good damage, and very good brawl potential. So that's why carving's up here. Battle Axe, decent mobility, very good brawl potential, and very high damage. And this is kind of one of those weapons where you can run like flat 8 OC, 8-1, and you can fight 8-3s and potentially kill them as well. Avathists, a very high mobility with the Purge and an iframe, I believe, on the E. I'm not 100% positive actually if the E's are iframe. Let's just quickly double check that. Where are the fists? Leave to all crowd control effects until impact. Crowd control effects. Okay, so you can still get damage, so it's not an iframe. It still has what's the cooldown? combo attack. Okay, I'm not sure really. I've never played the gloves, so I'm not too sure how it works. But it looks like it has a decent cooldown. Yeah, decent cooldown. It's a purge, high mobility, high damage, pretty solid weapon. Next we have Bloodletter. You're gonna have to be running quite high IP to kill people with it if you're running like a meta version of the build. Very, very, very high mobility, very good cooldowns, decent damage. Not good at brawling, but at the end of the day, Mist is all about mobility. And next we have the most OP questionably, the most OP weapon is double bladed. So double bladed has a lot of mobility, and you're gonna unfortunately have to run a high IP to kill people on it. But you have a lot of mobility. People can rarely catch you. You can kill a lot of people if you're out IPing them. It's just overall a very, very safe weapon to play. It is getting nerfed. I believe the E is becoming 20 seconds instead of 18 seconds. I don't think it'll do too much though. But in my opinion, this is the strongest weapon in Mists at the moment. So I hope this video is helpful, kind of giving you guys an indication of where some of the weapons you might want to play falls under. I think anything in C tier is playable. B tier would probably be better, and A and S so forth. But you can play kind of anything from C. I wouldn't recommend playing anything in D and E, and I wouldn't recommend playing any of these weapons. But I hope this video can be helpful for you guys and that you enjoyed it. I do apologize for the Mists and CDs thing. I was initially going to do two ranking lists next to each other, but I think that would have just been way too long. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.